This is a download from BFM 89.9, the business station. The BFM Breakfast Grill. Top interviews you can't afford to miss. Presented by the CIMB Group.
This morning we speak to Dato' KR1M Ali Maidin. He's the Managing Director of Maidin Mohamad Holdings Berhad, which is the operator of KR1M Malaysia or KRIM. The subject of our discussion today, KRIM are shops operating as mini markets. This was conceptualized by the Prime Minister Datuk Seri Najib Tun Razak as a way to help lower income Malaysians to buy necessities at low prices. Good morning, Dato' KR1M. Welcome to the show.
Morning, Julian.
Can we start by asking you, is KRIM a good concept?
Well, we have to look at the objective, right? The objective is mengurangkan beban rakyat. So if you look at the objective itself, of course it's great because all of us are complaining about things, prices are going high, what the government doing about it, right? And this is one way where our Prime Minister has visualized it, that if he has enough creams everywhere, prices of goods can at least be controlled in the market.
Now, isn't this a duplication of processes which may result in a lot of wastage of government funds? Because we all know that there is a lot of low-cost retail formats, the hypermarkets, etc. In fact, your own brand, Maidin, already has a range of formats catering to the low price points. So why set up something from scratch? Why not use existing infrastructure?
I think the most important thing is we look at, you say hypermarkets. What is the objective of the hypermarkets, really? I mean, even Maidin for that matter. They're stakeholders. They are here to make money. Yes, they do sell cheap, but not cheaper than cream, I can assure you that. Right? But the objective is to make money. The objective of cream is not to make money, to sell cheap. Quality products at lower prices. Objectives are different.
Well,
no duplication.
I mean, the MNCs who set up these hypermarkets, and in fact, the various mini markets that exist in Malaysia right now, they are also in a position to compete, because if they see a new entrant coming into the market offering lower prices, that would represent a threat to them. So the government is now in the business of competing with these MNCs that have got huge wallets to make investments, to exploit scale economies. How is the government going to be in this business of competing with the big retail groups?
The big wallet that they have, they got to top up every time, all right? The objective, they want to make money, right? No doubt they have deep pockets. But I can assure you that even Maidin being a hypermarket operator, we do sell much, much cheaper than many of the MNCs. And price checks have proven that. So selling cheaper is one thing. Selling really, really cheap when the objective is not to make money would be different.
Well, if your objective is for this project to be successful, then it would actually make a dent in the profitability of all these other retailers who are selling at that low price points as well. Surely you would not expect them to take that lying down, and they would fight back as well.
You'll be surprised, because when people have different objectives, they align the method of doing business differently. I mean, in Malaysia, all formats exist. We've got premium stores, we've got mini market, we've got convenience stores. There are 24 convenience stores also, which are expensive, but people still go and shop there. It depends where you are. And the objective of KRIM, like I said, is we try to go where, actually even in small towns, where prices could be much, much higher. So when we are there, we can at least reduce the prices. Remember, it's not only KRIM sells cheaper, but being there itself, and you rightly say that, others will have to compete. So if you look at the bigger picture, when KRIM is around, other operators will have to reduce their prices. Indirectly, not only KRIM customers will benefit, but customers of other hypermarkets or other mini markets will also benefit.
Well, then we're talking about very bloody and very fierce competition here. Would we see KRIM eventually closing down, become a failed project further down the road?
I think if you don't have a bigger operator like Maidin helping KRIM to ensure it's very competitive, definitely will close down. But as long as I hope the Mydin is around, and because we ourselves are third largest in Malaysia, so our size does matter. Plus, we are also wholesalers. So we are able to supply to cream very competitive price. We could be the most competitively priced. So this helps.
Okay, what is the relationship between Mydin and Krim from a contractual viewpoint?
Well, it's 100% owned by Mydin. We have certain guidelines that we have to operate. We are under the Ministry of Domestic Trade in terms of guidelines on what we can and what we cannot do. We just cannot increase our prices tomorrow. We'll have to go back to the ministry to say, yes, prices have increased, we will have to increase, this is okay to increase. But it's also market driven. But remember two things. Cream sells two different types of product. One is One Malaysia product, which is the generic product, and another one is just normal branded products. Other products are market driven. So if you buy from a mini market, if you buy from a hypermarket, if you buy from Cream, the prices will be competitive, not necessarily cheaper. The second part is, which is 50% of the business, is One Malaysia product, which is generic product. Now, generic products are actually 30 to 50% more cheaper. And why are they cheaper? Because generic products, by nature, are cheaper. There's no branding cost. Every time the Prime Minister says One Malaysia, it's automatic branding for Kedai Raya Satu Malaysia.
And with regards to funding, what is the funding cost of this project?
All right. Every Kedai Raya that you want to open, on an average cost, the government gives a capex of 500,000. So 500,000 from the government for capex, and we ourselves, Mydin, we will have to invest another 500,000 to put in the stock and to manage the operational costs.
Okay, and you have about 130 stores right now.
That's right.
So the total investment cost was about 130 million, 50-50 split between Mydin and the government. Was there an open tender for this project?
I don't think so. And frankly, I don't think anybody want to do it. I mean, it's easier to say whether an open tender or not, but I think there was no open tender. People were asked probably in terms of anybody want to do it. Even now, the government is encouraging people, whoever want to open Kedai Raya Satu Malaysia, to come forward. But not many will when they see what is the objective. Most of us are in business to make money, but Cream is not. So the objective is different. So once you explain the objective, I mean, if you have $500,000, why you want to open a business that doesn't make money? Unless you are an NGO, you have different social objectives, which Mydin has.
Okay, we'll get into that in a little bit. What is the number of stores that you plan to add on to this 130, and what is the capex that's involved?
Okay, we're supposed to open 60 outlets for this year, so we've already opened quite a few this year. Out of the breakdown of the 60 for this year, 31 supposed to be in West Malaysia, 16 in Sarawak, 12 in Sabah, and 1 in Labuan for this year.
Okay, so 16 in Sarawak, 12 in Sabah, 31 in West Malaysia. That seems to be a very small number of shops in East Malaysia. Are these shops going to be fairly distributed so that the entire rakyat can benefit from this?
Well, I think we'll have to look two parts. One, any store that you open has to be also commercially viable, in the sense of the word that if you go down somewhere where the population is so small, you cannot open a reasonably sized Kedai Raya. A reasonable size, maybe you want to open a 3,000 square feet Kedai Raya.
But you just said that the objective here is not to make money, right? It's to
objective is not to make money, but you don't open a store if there are 10 people staying there. Right? I mean, it doesn't make sense to spend $500,000, $1 million to open a store somewhere where a population only 50 people, right? But if you are in a smaller town nearby, like we have in Kapit, we have in Muka, then it is close enough for people from the villages or inside to come to the store.
This morning, we speak to Datuk Wira Amir Ali Mydin, the Managing Director of Mydin Muhammad Holdings Berhad, who is also the operator of Kedai Rakyat One Malaysia. After the break, we'll discuss whether Krim is good use of taxpayers' money, and also we will talk about the quality of Krim's goods.
Best for money. BFM 89.9.
Dato' Wira Amir Ali Maidin, Managing Director of Maidin Muhammad Holdings Berhad, is on the Breakfast Grill this morning. Maidin is also the operator of KR1M Malaysia, or KRIM. Dato' Wira Amir, you talked about CSR, or corporate social responsibility, earlier. From a social viewpoint, isn't it better to give money directly to the lower income people through tax rebates and adjustments?
Why not? There are many ways to do this. And I thought by opening KRIM, you're actually giving it to the Rakyat. Directly to the Rakyat. If you sell something cheap or cheaper and it's available to the common man, isn't that what the objective of the government is? That so-called money is going directly to the Rakyat. Remember, you say tax rebates. Huh? Not many Malaysians pay taxes, or not all Malaysians pay taxes. We know that.
Well, there are many ways to give them money to really handle the rising costs in the country. For instance, food stamps could be one of them. And giving them money directly will also make them go back to spend. As far as the economy, it actually has a multiplier effect on the economy. But if KRIM is indeed going to be a successful project, and you expect people of all walks of life to go through those doors, then the high-income group would also be effectively subsidized by the government if they go and shop at KRIM. Now, aren't subsidies a regressive redistribution policy? Then the government is really so desperately trying to dismantle this, the sugar subsidies, the petrol subsidies. Isn't this the same thing?
No products in KRIM are subsidized. All right? The government only gives the capex. When KRIM runs, nothing is being subsidized. Of course, the sugar, the flour, and the oil that is there in KRIM is the same sugar and flour and oil which is in every other store, which is being subsidized by the government. So there is no other subsidy there. It's a capex subsidy which the government spends. Yes, it's money, but we do a turnover of 250 million a year. A lot of people walk into KRIM, right? People who sit in big offices probably don't walk into KRIM, all right? Because maybe they don't want to even be seen in KRIM. Because they say, oh, you're so cheapskate, I'm buying cheap goods, is it? You see? So it's a perception thing here. But if you go and stand in front of a KRIM store seriously, you see the type of people who walk in. I've even seen people walk in, buy a loaf of bread and divide into two, because they can't afford to buy one loaf for themselves. All right? And prices are so much different, A sardine costs only $1.05. A tin of sardine, a can of sardine. But the market, even in Maidin, we sell the branded one at $1.90 or even $2.10.
Well, you say that the government doesn't subsidize anything, but the government has put in money for the capex. And if you were to have this very efficient distribution so that everybody can benefit from it, then the government would be involved in the future capex of this company as well.
But the government has various objectives. The government does many things for the people, all right? They pay for LRT, they pay for the MRT, they pay for the toll that you take. I think toll is more heavily subsidized by the rich, okay? It's being subsidized for the rich compared to a Kedai Raya Satu Malaysia, because you don't see people in suit walking into Kedai Raya Satu Malaysia, but you see people in suit driving cars, And I think that subsidy should go first,
Well, there is a question here from SMS, or rather the tweets. How do you deal with the conflict of interest between Maidin and KRIM? Because Maidin is owning 100% of KRIM. Should there be a separate entity to legally deal with this and to legally fulfill the social objectives of this project?
Well, Maidin owns 100% of Kedai Raya Satu Malaysia. There's really no conflict in terms of because KRIM is a different entity. It has got its own account, it's got its own managers, its own staff, it runs. The only thing it benefits from Maidin is because Maidin buys in volume. We have massive trading terms with all the multinationals. Anybody operating small stores will not be able to enjoy the trading terms a big operator like Maidin, or for the matter other hypermarkets, get from other multinationals. There are a lot of rebates that come, a lot of other income that comes in, whereby makes goods cheaper. So I think that is the thing.
And what is the margins that Mydin makes from distributing goods into KRIM?
Shocking to know, nothing. We don't make any margins at all. We give everything to KRIM at cost. Every rebate is passed to KRIM. Because that is not, our objective is not to make money from KRIM. We don't have to make money from KRIM because we make enough money ourselves. And end of the day, seriously, being 60 years old, end of the day when you are this old, you think of the hereafter more than the here, okay? And we have the same breakfast every morning, a toast of bread and a cup of coffee. Seriously, I don't need any more money, Okay, it's enough money. And it's time to give to the community. And what better way to give, all right, than to give through Kedai Rakyat Satu Malaysia. You're helping people. I'm serious. If you see the shoppers that walk into Kedai Rakyat, then you will understand the objective of Kedai Rakyat Satu Malaysia. These are poor people.
Foreigners can also patronize the store. Domestic Trade Cooperatives and Consumerism Minister Dato' Hassan Malik said that a ban on foreigners can be considered to patronize KRIM. Isn't this an administrative nightmare?
I don't see why we should ban. I would not go against the thought of the minister, right? The minister being the minister in charge of Kedai Rakyat Satu Malaysia. But seriously, there's nothing subsidized in KRIM, right? So why do we stop foreigners from buying from KRIM or people with suits buying from KRIM? Whoever wants to buy, let them buy. Because there's nothing subsidized. It's just the initial capex that goes in. And after that, people enjoy lower prices.
Now, the conventional thinking is that when you sell goods very cheaply, the quality of the goods will be compromised as well. Can you tell us a little bit about the quality and nutritional value of the goods that's sold in KRIM?
I would say two things, all right? One is that it's a perception. When something is cheap, the quality is not up to par. I mentioned to you, I normally wear my ties, which are $9.90 from Mydin. But people look at me, they say, oh, there's some dato wearing a tie. It has to be $100 tie minimum. But not really. I only wear a $9.90 tie. But perception of people will be that. The second thing about products in Kedai Rakyat Satu Malaysia, we are required by KPD and KK, every item that is sold in Kedai Rakyat must have a MISTI approval, which is by Ministry of Health. Right? Not all stores do this, all right? Okay, but Kedai Rakyat, we are required to do it when it's approved by the Ministry of Health.
Well, the Minister of Health, Dato' Sri Liao Tiong Lai, also confirmed that the One Malaysia fresh milk had some E. coli bacteria in it. How do you reconcile this with the quality statement?
I think the issue here will be that if you go to any supermarket, time and another, all right, I am sure every one of us has bought fresh milk from any hypermarket, supermarket, and we have found it to be bad when we took it out from the fridge. Seriously, what happened on the way, God knows, all right? I'm not discounting the fact that it happened. It should not have happened, but we all make mistakes. But let's not put the whole cream that everything is bad, all right, just because something was found. Yes, it should not be there. It should not have happened. But things do happen in this world, right?
This morning we are speaking with Dato' Amir Ali Mydin. He is the Managing Director of Mydin Holdings Berhad, which is also the operator of Kedai Rakyat 1 Malaysia. We have another question from SMS. Does the capex received, is that used to purchase the shop house or land or rental of the shops? And I suppose this is another part of the problem. The locations that you are situated on have got high foot traffic and supposedly high rentals.
The capex is used for capex. It's not used for purchase of properties at all. It's not used to pay rental, neither is used to pay deposits. That goes on the other. First, we don't buy properties, right? We don't. MRT doesn't own any properties at all. We rent properties, right? And operationally, it's not paid for by the government.
Okay, but then you still have to pay commercial rental rates, wouldn't you?
Yes,
and
it is commercially driven.
How is that funded? Is that funded out of the operations?
Operational cost. It's funded by us.
So can you give us an idea of what the total losses are right now for the CRIM operations as a whole?
Well, we are making operationally, we are making losses, no question about it. But I think any entity, when you open, even you open a Mydin or whatever, all right, there will be losses to be incurred initially because you're opening in different areas, you're going far-fetched, there'll be very heavy logistic costs. The only thing here, we hope that when you have bigger numbers, right, even 7-Eleven for the matter, if you look at their record, they made massive losses initially. We just hope that when you have maybe 300, 500 KR1M, Satu Malaysia, all over Malaysia, your logistic costs, because normally losses are because of logistic costs and nothing else. Because there's a massive logistic cost if you have outlets in Muka, in Kapit, or in Guang Musang, and wherever you have.
Well, this figure would be quite relevant for Malaysians to look at, because while you say that you have a CSR objective, surely you can't afford to let this continue to bleed into the foreseeable future. So what would be the number?
Why do you say that Mydin cannot afford it? Because I think you should look at it. Why is it that if I want to sacrifice my profit, people question it, while Bill Gates gives $1 billion or Warren Buffett gives another $1 billion? Oh, that's all right. But if I, or Mydin for the matter, want to contribute our profits to the losses of CRIM for the more social benefit for the people, for the rakyat, why is that being questioned? We're not doing anything wrong, right?
The profit... either the profit or loss would be a figure of national interest, because the government has spent time and money developing this policy. So this figure would be relevant to ordinary Malaysians to look at.
We give our account to the Ministry of Trade. I'll let the minister reveal the numbers if he wants to reveal. I have no problem with it, all right, because I report to the minister. Our accounts are submitted to the minister, seriously, because to the ministry, and they have the accounts. Let the minister answer the question.
Well, since you have taken up the mantle of CSR, you are actually in an unenviable position of having to defend this policy. So maybe you can give us an idea of the kind of losses that you are sustaining right now, and let us share the pain a little bit.
I think that when you do things from your heart, and you're doing for the heart, money becomes irrelevant, right? Because when you want to help people, there are people helping people in many ways, in their own small way. Everybody wants to do good for the community in their own heart, right? And we're trying to help people in our own ways. So I think there's no question about it.
The capex to set up the 131 stores and counting was around the 130 million level, and half of it
half of it is capex.
Half of it is coming from Mydin. That's almost 60 million ringgit. And added on top of that, if you continue to count operational losses from these CRIM stores, then this huge amount of money that you're spending on CRIM, and you're telling us that you don't mind this. This is something that you want to do for the betterment of Malaysian society.
See, Mydin have a turnover of $3 billion, all right? $3 billion. We make more than 50, 60 million a year, all right? So it's not going to be a big dent on Mydin to have a few million losses here and there. Seriously. We have our small mini market that make losses. I opened a premium store, Sam Grocery initially, is making losses. Part and parcel of business, making losses and making money.
But we're not talking about small losses here. I mean, 3 billion revenue, the retail margin is razor thin, and you're talking about these, 50 to 60 to 100 million of losses added into your P&L account.
Oh, no. I never say we make 50 million losses. Come on.
No, but you have some from a cash flow.
When you have investment, all right? See, okay, you have 130 stores, for example. The capex could be 65 million, and we put 65 million working capital. That is buying goods. It's not losses. That is, you buy products and you put on the shelf.
And you would have to depreciate this 65.
No, those are goods. Those are goods. You're buying goods and you're selling them, and you buy. That is your working capital. Operationally, you have losses, right? Because when you open stores, you have losses, right? So we only have to bear those losses, not at 65 million. I mean, I think we have to be very clear. I don't make that kind of losses. I personally will not be able to bear those kind of losses also.
Could you give us an idea of how many people shop at KR1M? What are the customer traffic numbers?
All right. See, numbers will be, we have KR1M at a turnover of 250 million. All right. Average basket size of only 20 ringgit. Right. So I think you'll have to just work backwards to get the numbers. I don't have the numbers in my head, but 250 million per year, basket size of 20 ringgit.
Dato' Wira Haji Amir Ali Maidin, thank you very much for joining us this morning.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for calling.
All the best to you. That was Dato' Amir Ali Maidin. He's the Managing Director of Maidin Mohamad Holdings Berhad, which is the operator of KR1M Malaysia, or KR1M. I'm Julian Ng, BFM 89.9.
Thank you for listening to this podcast. To find more great interviews, go to bfm.my or find us on iTunes. BFM 89.9, the business station.